Welcome to MLS Campus, your go-to source for real estate education and career success. Are you buying or selling a home in Virginia? Do you know who your real estate agent actually represents? If you haven't signed a buyer representation agreement, the agent you're working with may be representing the seller, not you. In this video, we'll break down agency relationships, fiduciary duties, and the risks of dual agency, so you can protect your interests. So stay tuned. But before we get started, like this video, subscribe to MLS Campus and turn the notifications on. Let's start with the basics. What is a real estate agency relationship? A real estate agency relationship is a formal agreement between a real estate professional and a client that determines who the agent represents and what responsibilities they have. This relationship impacts everything, from negotiation strategies to legal obligations. So, it's important to get it right. Most buyers and sellers assume that any real estate agent they speak to is working on their behalf. But in Virginia, that's not always the case. Let's break it down. Buyer's agent works exclusively for the buyer and advocates for their best interests. They negotiate on behalf of the buyer, provide pricing insights, and offer confidential advice. Seller's agent, listing agent, represents the seller and is legally required to prioritize the seller's best interests. Their job is to market the property, negotiate the best price, and secure favorable terms for the seller, not the buyer. Warning: if you're a buyer and haven't signed a buyer representation agreement, the agent you're talking to is legally representing the seller. Now, let's talk about something that many buyers and sellers don't fully understand: dual agency. In Virginia, dual agency is legal, but it comes with serious risks. Here's what you need to know. Dual agency happens when the same real estate agent or brokerage represents both the buyer and the seller in the same transaction. The agent must remain neutral and cannot negotiate exclusively for either party. Both the buyer and seller must agree in writing to dual agency before proceeding. Potential risks of dual agency. The agent cannot fully advocate for either side. You may lose negotiation leverage as the agent must remain neutral. There's a potential conflict of interest. So, is dual agency worth it? That depends on the situation. But before agreeing, make sure you fully understand the limitations. Without a buyer representation agreement, the agent you're speaking to is not required to work in your best interest. They must prioritize the seller. They don't have to keep your information confidential. They are not obligated to negotiate for you. Solution: sign a buyer representation agreement to get full legal protection and negotiation power. Did you know that real estate agents in Virginia owe specific fiduciary duties to their clients? These include loyalty. They must act in your best interest. Confidentiality. Your private info must stay protected. Full disclosure. They must share material facts, accounting, proper handling of financial transactions. Reasonable care. They must act with skill and diligence. Understanding real estate agency relationships is critical whether you're buying or selling a home in Virginia. Knowing who your agent actually represents can protect your interests and help you negotiate a better deal. Key takeaways. Without a written agreement, an agent represents the seller by default. Dual agency limits advocacy and negotiation power. A buyer representation agreement ensures you have full representation. Want to master Virginia real estate? Get expert training with MLS Campus. And don't forget, read the full blog for more details. The link in the description box. Like and subscribe for MLS Campus Online School. Thank you for watching.